phambili isimo sicayi ngibheke emehlweni kusile ngaphandle ngifuna sibambane.
Hi everyone, I hope you guys are safe and all is well. Today we are joined by Miranda Ntshangase, and I hope that you guys are going to learn so many things from her. So we're going to have such a friendly talk with her, and she's going to greet you guys, and we're going to continue with our conversation.
Hey everyone, I hope everyone's well at home.
It's a pleasure having Miranda Ntshangase on our show. She's such an inspiration. We've learned so many things from her, and I hope that you guys are going to learn so many things from her. So Miranda, tell us about your background. As women, in most of the cases, usually people say that backgrounds usually limit us from achieving certain things. And in most cases, people usually say that we are defined by our backgrounds. I would like to learn from your side that what do you think about a person's background? Should it be a limit or whatsoever?
It could go both ways. A person's background, in terms of the values that are instilled in them, can make or break you as a person, right? So if you're growing up in a background, let's say for instance, it's a toxic background, it's abusive, it's verbally putting down, it doesn't build you up as a person, that can definitely be something that affects your self-esteem and therefore affects your future, right? But if you grew up in a background where your parents or the people that surround you and the friends that you hang out with are people that encourage you to be a better person, then that is something that can obviously encourage you to be someone within this world. I think also it's important to also know that you can control the way you react to certain things, right? Because in that there's strength. So if you are growing up in a background that, for instance, is a place where your self-esteem is affected, you need to be the kind of person that picks themselves up, dusts themselves off and says, I won't listen to whatever that person is saying, and therefore I'm going to become a better person than what they think I am. And I think that's the basis of it. You could be the richest person in the world, but if you take in everything negative that people say, then you're bound to be pretty much nothing, right?
That's true.
It's important to have strength in how you build yourself and how you react to how people react to you, right? So I definitely think background is important, but it's also the values instilled in you that help you improve on where you end up.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's really great. So looking at the way you grew up, would you have a problem with sharing some of the things that you encountered on your journey to success or in your teenagehood going upwards?
The town that I come from, Sister Belinda, is the kind of town where there's not much to do, especially for teenagers and especially females, let's say for instance, because I feel like with men, there's a lot that they can put their hands on. But for females, it's very easy to get pregnant. It's very easy to hang out with the wrong crowd and to get mixed up with the wrong people. I suppose for men as well, but for men, you're not looked at the way that a female is, because once a female gets pregnant, you're stuck with the baby. The husband or the boyfriend or the father can carry on with their life as normal, right?
Yeah.
So for me, my whole key thing in the town that I grew up in was to try and look at, okay, this is the environment that I'm in. Do I want to stay here? Or do I want more for myself? And my answer was always, I want more for myself. Even now in Joburg, I mean, as I'm staying here, I still want more for myself. I always look at my surroundings and I go, okay, kuphelele. No, darling, there's still more. We are climbing this ladder, you know.
Yeah.
So no matter where you are brought up, where you are raised, it's important for you to know that there's always more and there's always more to be achieved. It can become the norm. What you see can become the norm, but it's important for you to have a third eye and go, okay, no, actually, this doesn't have to be the norm for me, right? And that was the norm for a lot of the girls in my community. And that's okay. I mean, some of us are meant to raise families and just be stay-at-home moms, which is a huge job on its own. But for me, that wasn't my stop. I wanted more. I wanted a career. I wanted a family. I wanted everything. Even now, there's nothing that's going to stop me, you know.
Yeah.
So that's my go-getter attitude, and that's what got me out of a small town with just small dreams. I tried to dream bigger so that I could go out and live, a life that was according to my dreams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's such a great answer. Just to add on what you've said, it basically making me think of the importance of looking at yourself as someone who's unique, who doesn't want to do things the way that everyone wants to do things. You want to be unique, you want to branch and just create something that's going to be new for everyone, and so that the other upcoming generation can also look up to you and say, oh, wow, we're seeing Miranda shining and she's doing all the great things. Because looking back at where you grew up, surely they can see you, they can see the progress in you. And by looking at the things that you've been through, they're also learning that, oh, despite 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, she's where she is. So wow, that's such a brilliant answer. I'm really impressed. I love it, and I don't know what to say. But anyways, tell us about marriage, because looking at the way things are done and looking at the way modernization is taking place, we, the upcoming generation, are looking at marriage in another perspective. For instance, I would say that the way people that are in marriage usually present themselves, it also has a specific effect on how we think and feel about marriage. What is your thought about being married and thinking about such? Because at the end of the day, we all want to be married. I want to get married, but I want to know from someone who's there, that what is marriage? What's something special about this? And just get to learn more from someone who has experience and who is in such.
So I just want to start with as beings, right? As human beings, it's an innate nature with us to couple. So by coupling, I mean to have a teammate, to have a business partner, to have obviously it's a pity that some situations do not allow for you to couple or to end up with someone, but I feel like, in my personal opinion, that having a teammate in everything is so important, because you can bounce ideas off that person. You can have someone to support you when you're weak, and vice versa. When you celebrate the good moments, you have someone. And that really is what marriage is. Marriage is having someone who's a die-hard partner for you. Someone that backs you up no matter how wrong you could be. They'll show you the way, but at the end of the day, no matter how imperfect you are, that person is right there by your side and has no choice but to be there right by your side, right? You support each other. So for me personally, I feel like marriage is obviously commitment, because you're committing to someone who is a different person to you. That's the first thing. True. You're not meant to be the same person. You're not meant to have the same experiences. And that's what keeps it interesting, is that I'm looking at Belinda and I'm like, okay, Belinda, you are now a woman. Oh, okay, that's very interesting. So I walk this womanhood journey with you in this coupling situation. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel like it's beneficial, not even just necessarily in marriage, but just partnership in everything. Is always nice to have someone that supports you, someone that is your teammate, someone that is a diehard for you and you for them, and it's a never-ending agreement. So I know I could tomorrow have a really terrible day and we could have a really big fight about it, but you have no choice but to stick by me and we have to figure it out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And therefore I don't feel like I'm imperfect. I do feel imperfect, but I feel someone loves me through my imperfections.
True.
Yeah.
True. Wow. So just to touch on such, I want to ask something, because looking at my age, I'm 22 and I'm not married. Maybe somehow I will get married. I want us to talk about something that we don't generally talk about, which is the fact of being very, I wouldn't say selective, but careful when it comes to relationship wise. Because you'd find out that you would spend most of the time with someone that is not, I wouldn't say, but a person that is not a package of what you're actually looking for in life. For instance, it can be 10 years, 20 years, but from that relationship, you're basically not benefiting anything from it. But you feel like it's something good for you. What would you say about such? Because a lot of women are suffering from this, and it's sad because we don't talk about it and we feel that it's the right thing.
I think let's start with you'll never find the perfect partner.
Okay.
The perfect partner has to get to know you and mold themselves to you. What's important, however, is to have certain foundational facts about your partner that you are not willing to budge on.
Yeah.
I'll give an example of a few. Respect. I definitely know that I cannot be with someone who has no respect for me and for people around me. That already is a deal breaker for me. Someone that's kind. These are deal breakers for me. So above all of these deal breakers, there are certain things that I can work with and that we can bonisana each other with. Do you know what I mean? And then we improve as people. It's like cooking a stew. Your stew has to have spices in it for you to make it what you, and then you add carrots and you add onions and you add potatoes, right? That's basically what marriage or a partnership or a relationship should be. We need to have complementing spices that go into this dish and come out with this amazing dish. The problem comes in now if you add too much salt, right?
Yeah.
When you taste it, you can taste that there's too much salt in this thing. You know it's not going to come out right, right? You can add as much sugar as you want into this thing, and it just doesn't come right. As females, it's important for us from a distance already to know, to go to, okay, that is a deal breaker for me. Too much salt in this pot is going to make this thing a horrible dish. And I know I can't turn back from putting that salt in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So once you get to the point where you're like, actually, this specific thing, I know I can't work on it. Turn away. Don't be naive and go, I can still work on it. No, uyangishaya, but it's okay. That's a deal breaker.
Yeah.
That's a deal breaker. There are certain things that need to be absolute deal breakers that you will not stand for. And I think we need to be less lenient on those kind of things and those kind of behaviors, because you're not going to make a partner out of this person. And if someone disrespects you in that manner, how are you going to build a home and have kids with this person? And how are the kids going to look up at this person? Yeah. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's my opinion on that.
Talk of something that I feel like a lot of women are going through, and it's sad. It's sad. I would say like almost 80% of them, they're going through that. Talk to someone out there who feels that I have this particular partner in my life. I know he's just not what I'm looking for. But thing is, he supports me financially. How do I move from this situation? I don't know my next move. I don't know how to even start this whole thing of just making sure that I'm breaking this wall. I want to live my own life. I want to start fulfilling the dreams that I've always dreamed about.
But that's the thing though. You don't want to start.
Yeah, that's the thing.
That's it. You as the person, I could give you as much advice as I want to, but you as the person need to be ready to go, I've had enough.
Yeah.
Angisafuni. Yes, ungiphi imali, but the rest of the things that he's doing are just not right. So I as the person need to make the decision. Your family can try and make the decision for you, but keep a situation in it and then you go back.
Yeah, true.
You know, but you need to be ready. So don't say you want to start when you are not ready to start and leave this person. You need to get to the point where you go through the motions and then you get to the point where you're like, you know what, enough is enough. I'm done, Gemanj.
Wow. So guys, I hope you're learning a lot from this woman. She's such a great woman. She's talking about the importance of being able to tell yourself that, you know what, I've had enough of this. Cut. I'm tired. I want to live my own life. I want to do things the way I want to do them. Because time is money. We can't be wasting time on unnecessary things, especially when we know that we should be investing on more important things. Moving on, Miranda, I want to learn something from you in terms of your career path. Because I'm so thrilled. I love the way that you are branching into things. Business, music, you're a wife, you've got kids. It's just all in all. I want to know that in terms of your career, what are the basic challenges that you go through? But even though you're going through those challenges, you make sure that they don't affect your household. They don't affect the relationship that you have with your husband and your kids.
For me, I have a motto within the office, and the girls know as well that work with us.
That's nice.
One of my mottos is you know, being an entrepreneur, like you have to figure things out for yourself, because most of the time you can't pay that person to do that specific thing for you, because people that render services are quite expensive and they come at a price. And at that time, being an entrepreneur and you're coming up, you can't necessarily afford. So you need to learn the skill. So for me, my whole thing is, okay, what needs to be done? All right, let's Google it. Let's figure it out. Let me do it. That's it. And then when I get home, my lives are separate. Like my business life is separate to my acting life. My music life is separate to my family life. Everything has its own place. Yes, and I know how to close the curtains. When I get home, my husband will ask me A, B, C, and D. I'll tell him. He'll tell me, and then we move on to our own personal things. We try and not let it meddle into the lives of the other facets. And I think it's important to try and keep separate things, because in order to keep your relationship alive, you need to do relationship things, not business things in relationship things.
True.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Wow, I love that. She's just making me think of something that I feel like it's something to also touch on, that she also touched on, that being able to, make sure that your whatever thing that you do on your workplace doesn't affect your lifetime or your marriage or whatsoever. Because in most cases you'd find out that a lot of marriages are being destroyed by the fact that maybe a specific partner, or a lady or a female, she or he brings whatever burden that she's having at her workplace into this thing. And sometimes we find out that kids don't even have time to spend with their parents, because that whole thing is just taking over the relationship with the kids, with the husband, and everyone around them. And it seems like it becomes too toxic.
It's a difficult balance, I won't lie. It is a difficult balance. There are times when I take my work home, but I have to definitely tell myself, okay, this is where we cut it. 7 p.m. is where we cut it, because the kids want mommy's time, want daddy's time. It's a difficult balance. It's something you have to feel out with your family and how the kids react and so on and so forth.
Oh wow! What's your take? Because you're a married woman. Since you're saying that it's a difficult distinct balance. What's your take? Do you also seek for advices from other women who are married, or do you just figure it out, or try to just adjust things all by yourself?
Like I said to you, because we're beings, it's important to couple up.
That's true.
That means with friends that advise you as well. It's like, for me, I don't walk this road alone. My kids have 15 mums. Because it takes a village. There are times when I can't make certain things, and I have to call a friend, or I call my business partner, or I call my best friend, whatever the case is. The ladies that work with me at the office, I'm always like, please, like right now, just before we started this, I said, please remind me to go fetch the kids at school, because it's important to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true.
It's important to have a support structure.
Yeah,
it's important.
That's true. I love that. I really love that. Talk of the limitations that we women put ourselves under. In most cases, you'd find out that, as me, I'm doing a B.Ed. For instance, next is my last year, I'll do teaching. I would just pave one way to my sex, and it'd only be teaching. What's your rule breaker to that cycle that we women have? Because you're a businesswoman, you're an actor, you're also a musician.
So for me, like I told you, I put, usually I'll commit to something and I'll be like, as I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, yes, and then as I'm doing it, I'm like, but you need to be the kind of person that, and we're young, you're young, you're 22.
That's true.
Try everything that you can until you figure out that it doesn't work for you. And the only way you'll know that it doesn't work for you is if you've tried it. Then you go, okay, I bumped my head over there. You know what I mean?
So it's about taking risks, actually.
Take risks. Live your life to the fullest. Live a life of passion. Don't be the kind of person that wakes up in the morning and is bored with their life. You're bored with your life because you're not doing the things that you want to do. Pursue your passions. Pursue your likes. Pursue the things that make you happy. Carry on. And no one says that has to disturb your working life, your normal 9 to 5 life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's always, you make time for the things that you deem important.
Yeah.
Don't tell me that I don't have time because I have a 9 to 5. I have a 9 to 5. I'm making it work. I'm running a college. I'm running the agency. I'm doing my music. I paint. I have my kids. I have my family. I'm making it work. Yeah, ngivuka ngikhathele, but ngivuka ngikhathele ngoba ngenza izinto engizithandayo. You know what I mean?
That's true.
I'm tired and I go, okay, it's the end of the year, ngikhathele, but I'm living a fulfilled life because I'm living to the fullest.
I've been meaning to ask you about your college. I just want to know in depth, and I feel like the others at home would also love to learn about your college, because
So we have a college that trains actors on the business of the arts.
Oh, wow.
So and on acting as a whole as well. So we teach theater, television, as well as just like the business, like knowing how to read contracts, knowing how to read statements, knowing how the business works of the arts. Because I find where we fail our entertainers the most is in the technical things, and as actors we don't want to learn the technical things.
True.
I don't really want to learn how to read the contract because my agent will read it.
Yeah.
But then when isn't there's sugar lapha and I blame my agent, when in actual fact the contract is between me and the production company. It's not between me and my agent and
That's
the
true.
it's between me and, so whatever goes wrong there and my agent has signed on my behalf, I need to know.
Yeah, you have to.
I need to know so that I know who to hold accountable, etc. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we teach that. We have a 1-year course
Oh.
that is fully accredited. It's an NQF level 4 course in the performing arts. It's a higher certificate. And then we have short courses, one for corporate companies, for corporate confidence, and then we have one for kids, and then one for acting as well, for those that just want a short period of time to do this thing and see if it's for them or not, you know, like a beginner's course, which is 3 months. So that runs both online and live.
Okay, so if I'm interested, because acting is such a nice thing. I've never acted, but I feel like it has that thing, you know, putting yourself in someone else's shoe because you're playing someone else's character, you know. If I'm interested and I would love to act, so how do I get a hold of your details, your college details in terms of registration and whatsoever?
So we have different departments. For the college, they can email admin@starquality.co.za, or they can also just have a look on our website. There's a tab that says Performing Arts College where all of the registration forms and things are on there. And then to actually apply for the actual agency to be one of the actors on our books, and you go through a screening process. It's not just a yes as you apply. You can send all of that to apply at starquality.co.za, and our landline is 011 036 5666.
Guys, if you love acting and you are willing to do such, please feel free to contact her and also watch on the detail that she's also saying so that you can also pursue your dream, because we are living in a lifetime where we have to live the best of the best. Do whatever you feel like you want to do. There's nothing that should limit you. If you want to branch into music, branch into music. Acting, branch. Business, branch. You have the fullest freedom. Nothing should stop you. So Miranda, I would like us to just talk about something about let's say there is a specific woman out there in the village, town, or whatsoever. She has been through the most of the most that you can think of. Her background has affected her badly, to a point whereby she might have done certain things which she feels like are gonna hinder her or have hindered her from succeeding or achieving certain things, and she feels like she's just useless. There's nothing that she can do to reach whatever goal that she had.
First of all, self-talk is important. If you call yourself useless, you're going to be useless.
True.
If someone calls you useless and you take that and you make that person's words your words, that's what you're going to be. So for me, self-affirmation is important. I meditate almost every morning.
Oh, wow.
And within my meditation, there are certain keywords that I repeat to myself according to what I want to achieve on that day or that week or that month. So self-affirmation, making sure that you know that you are great. Because I don't think anybody is born into this world not to be great.
Yeah, true.
The greatness is in our hands.
Yeah.
It's how we take this greatness and make it even better. Because what affects this greatness is everything around it. Someone coming to you and saying to you, you can't achieve this thing. Who are you to tell me that I can't achieve this thing? Have you lived my life? No, you haven't lived my life.
Yeah.
So what? Things happen. You've done bad things. You've, as a really terrible example, you've killed someone.
Yeah.
Life has to go on. It's happened. It's done.
You can't change it.
You can't change it.
Yeah.
As long as you are the kind of person that sits back, looks at my mistakes and I go, okay, there I made a mistake and I apologize. But from here forth, I'm going to live a fulfilled life.
True.
I'm going to make up for those mistakes. You need to be the kind of person that picks themselves up, dust yourself up, and you go again. You try. You will not know how to do something until you try it.
Wow, that's very true. That's very true. When she mentions the fact that she meditates every morning, she's making me have such a thought that it is very important for one to be able to do things that are actually going to help you
Yes.
daily.
Yes.
It's like giving yourself a daily motivation.
What do sports people do? They go to practice, right?
True.
If you want to be a good person, you need to practice on being a good person. You don't just wake up a good person.
Yeah, that's very true.
You have to practice things that help you become a better person, you know?
Wow.
So for me, that's meditation. Meditation controls my emotions, my anger, my other things that control outside, things that that are trying to get in. So I use my meditation as a way to focus, as a way to align.
Things. And
Yeah.
since you're also a busy woman, you also need something that's gonna calm
Yes,
you down.
yes,
Just
yes. Sometimes
Yeah.
it doesn't work, and then I just use it. But you know, I'm only human.
At least you tried.
Yes,
At least you
I
tried.
try.
Yeah. Guys, welcome back. We are still joined by Miranda Ntshangase, and now we're going to be focusing on the most interesting part, which is music. As we know that she's also a musician, so we'd like to know more and more about the music industry that she's also branched into, and learn some of the things that you can also use in the future if you are interested in music and if you also love music. So Miranda, can you just tell us about the uniqueness of your music? Because we know that there are a lot of singers out there, a lot of people are releasing singles, albums, or whatsoever, but there has to be that specific thing about your music that is unique or different to someone else's music.
For me, it's a sensitive topic when someone says what sets you apart in terms of music and art, you know,
Yeah.
because as artists we just create and we're very sensitive about the things we create, right? So what sets me apart, I'm not entirely sure. From my angle, I'm hoping that it's the messages and that I write about. It's the stories that I tell, because at the end of the day, as a musician, you're a storyteller.
That's
For
true.
me, music has obviously evolved right now, and it's more about the happiness and the dancing and the, you know, but for me, I'm still from the old school era, so I still tell stories. I still write a full story for someone to follow right from the beginning to the end. So I'm hoping that's my unique trait that sets me apart. But other than that, my goal is just to create, and hopefully that story or that message catches someone out there that's listening.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true, because you'd notice that music is it's something that even if when you are down, happy, sad, or whatsoever, it's something that makes you feel a certain way. So music, it's a kind of way that we also use to heal, to get excited or to rejoice or whatever that we're going through in that particular time. So she's touching on something very important. I think that being old school, that you so call it, is such a nice thing, because for some of us, I love meaningful music and I love something that I can relate to when I'm listening to. So it's something that is very, very beneficial. Going on, I would like to know, Miranda, that what really inspired you to branch into music and to discover the gift that you also have? Because I feel like writing songs, singing is also a gift from God, because we all have different gifts. So I feel like it's also one of your gifts. So what really, 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 really inspired you to branch into such and also be a musician? Because most of us know you as an actress. So
Music has always been me. I've always been music from when I was young. When I studied music originally, by the way. Didn't actually study acting.
oh wow, 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 wow! I'm learning.
Yes,
I'm
I
learning.
studied music, and it's always been my passion and will always be my passion. My music is a gift from God, like you said. It's a gift from my ancestors,
Sure.
and my ancestors have pushed
True.
for me to do this music thing. So I will never give up on it. When I'm feeling most down, the one thing that lifts me up is music, and not necessarily just my music. Music from other people as well. You know, I find my best moments are followed by music. I can, if you say to me now, give me a great moment in your life, with that moment, I'll give you a song that goes with that moment. Music has always been a part of me, and I think always will be.
Always be. That's really interesting, and it's really nice. Doing something that you love, not because of money, but because of the connectivity that you have with that particular thing.
Absolutely.
Also is such a this thing in a
Yeah.
person's life. So tell us about your single that I've been listening to and I can't get over it. And I want to know, and someone out there is willing to know, that what really, how are you feeling when you're writing the song? What are the imaginations, thoughts, and whatsoever you can think of that inspired you and got you writing such an amazing song?
So Sozundishiye is a song I just recently released about a week ago on the 9th of October, which happens to be my father-in-law's birthday as well.
Wow.
Sozundishiye is a song about commitment in love, right? So this couple go through a journey of trials and tribulations, but at the end of the day, they know that Sozundishiye, whatever it is that we're going through, whatever it is that this path is taking us through, we are joined to the hip Sozundishiye.
Wow.
And that's really pretty much the element of the song. That's why I wrote it. Because I feel like commitment is like a riff-raff thing that's happening these days.
Sure.
We can't really commit anymore.
Yeah.
The element of commitment is such a easy thing that never gets discussed these days, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But it's such an important element to every single relationship. So yeah, Sozundishiye.
I hope that you guys are gonna enjoy it. Not that I hope, I know that you guys are gonna enjoy it.
And it's available everywhere. They can go to my profile on Instagram to find the link.
Perfect. I love that. If you want the song, you can go to your profile and then get the song. So it's such an interesting song, and it also connects you. It's brilliant. It's amazing. In fact, you can go and get it. I love it. I just love it. So Miranda, there's something that I really want to learn from you, and I feel like someone out there who loves music, but they just don't know where to start. They feel like it's also their gift, but they feel like there's lack of resource, or they just don't know where to start. There's no direction. There's nothing that's showing them where do I start this journey.
For me, no matter how underprivileged you are, you can start with something. And by something, the first tool could be your voice. Whether you sing in church, whether you play the keys in church, whether you play, do you know what I mean? Whether you play in the room, whether you can always start with you, because you're the only one that can depend on you, right? The next thing is, every single young person or person out there has a phone. Do they not?
They do.
We all have phones these days, cell phones, right?
Yeah.
And on every single phone, unless you have a dilili,
Yeah.
which is also okay, but every single phone has a voice function on it, does it not? You record yourself, you listen to yourself, you record your ideas when you wake up. Because for me, I sometimes get woken up with ideas at like 2 a.m. in the morning, and my phone is next to me, so I just record the voice note in my sleep, and then I listen to it the next morning, and it doesn't make sense, but then I write it anyway.
Yeah.
So I feel like the lack of resources thing is an excuse. If you really want to do something, you will do it, and you will start with whatever you have.
I love that. So what she's actually emphasizing on is stop making excuses.
Stop making excuses.
And that is something that we usually do. I'm also at this thing for that. I used to make excuses up until I also learned the hard way that life is so short. You've got to start wherever you are.
Absolutely.
And no matter how many circumstances are trying to stop you, but just start wherever you are. And so this is such an inspiration that we're learning from Miranda, that with whatever you want to start, you can start. Music, if you feel like you want to vent into the part of music, you can do so. So Miranda, I really had a good time with you, and most importantly, there's something that I would really like to say, and it's touchy, and I know how busy you guys are. Your life is busy. It's busy. From the hour that you spent on something, I know that you should have spent it somewhere else. So creating some time with us and joining us on my show was such a fruitful thing, and I really appreciate. I love your kindness, and may you do it with other people, and just carry on being kind and uplifting the upcoming ones.
Aww.
So thank you so much for joining us, guys. Please support Miranda and make sure that you do listen to the song and you do get one for yourself. So thank you so much for everyone who was watching this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. So I would like you to just show appreciation by making sure that you like, subscribe, and comment. And please don't forget that Miranda is out there and she's doing the most of the best.
And so is Belinda.
Thank you.
Audio Jungle.